Hi, beloveds. It's Lena Marie. I'm doing a video today because I would love to share with you one of the books that is not a conventionally spiritual book that really catapulted me on my spiritual journey and understanding like the different levels of the ways that we need to liberate ourselves, basically. So several years ago, one of the ways that I learn spiritual lessons, I guess, is I see it reflected around me, like at first, and I'll just kind of start seeing it everywhere, and I'll be like, okay. And at first I was like really confused. I'm like, what's happening? Like, why am I seeing this repeated everywhere? But I've been doing it long enough that when I start seeing like the same things or themes repeating itself, I'm like, okay, universe, I know you're bringing a new lesson. I'm totally ready. Let's do this. And so this is one of those times where I just started seeing the I was seeing oppression a lot in the world. And this was like right after COVID, and I just saw a lot of people struggling, a lot of people not getting their needs met. And so I was like I became open to understanding okay, well, what's happening? Like, I want to know more about it, because if I stay open and curious, then what I need to learn about it comes through. So I was already feeling it. I was having my own experiences with feeling oppressed in different housing situations, and that was really hard. And so I was just kind of watching, and I had the intuition that I was seeing these outer expressions of oppression because there's still ways that I had internalized oppression. So I had that awareness just from what my guides were telling me about the situation. And then through a bunch of synchronistic events, a book landed in my lap. And it's one, I didn't put it as one of my favorite books, but it's up there. Because to be honest, if I could have, I would have put a lot more in there, but that would be overwhelming, and I didn't want to overwhelm you because I have a lot of favorite books. So I just chose the top 3 that I really like, but I really love this one too, and it's one of my favorites, just not in the top 3. So the book is called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. It's by Paolo Freire. And first off, this book is very poetic. It's translated from Portuguese, but still just the poetic nature crosses over the translation. I don't know how they do that, but it's amazing. I wish I could read Portugal, because I would really be curious about if the original book is as poetic as this one is. And this book opened my eyes in so many different ways, because I kind of came from a new age background. I grew up strictly Christian, and then later I got kind of into the new age thing. Obviously, being a psychic medium was kind of easy. I live in California, so of course I fell into that. And in what was surrounding me was you're creating situations, and you just need to stop thinking so negative, or if you're seeing something reflected back to yourself, it's because you need to heal that in yourself. And that actually worked to a certain layer of it. But after reading this book, Pedagogy of the Oppressed, I realized it was a lot more complicated than that. And thinking that, I think on a very simplistic level, okay, yes, you could be seeing a lot of things, and that may mean there's something unhealed in you and that you need to heal it. Yes, that may be true. That's one option, right? And if that resonates, okay, go with it. But I think in a lot of cases, that's kind of not very compassionate or understanding of where that person's coming from. And I no longer like that as much. I feel it's kind of harsh, to be honest. I feel that thinking's a little harsh, and that we can be way more empathetic and compassionate, not only with ourselves, but those around us, okay? And this is just my take. Everyone's allowed to have their opinion. This is just mine, okay? But after reading this, like, there's so many systems of oppression that set us up to be in certain situations. And it's not always the person's fault because there's so many other factors that are at play. And the most compassionate thing that we can do is like be mindful that the person is doing the best they can. And even if it's like the most basic, simplistic that they are having experience as being reflected right back to them, they still deserve compassion because it's really hard to face those things in ourselves and to hold space for them as they're kind of navigating this. So this book allowed for me to see like all the systems of oppression that keep us stuck, and that we are in a system that is designed to keep people stuck. And you can do all the spiritual work, you can do all the clearing, you can do years of therapy, you can do 7 million ayahuasca trips. But if you don't look at the ways that society is keeping you stuck and acknowledge that part and are compassionate and empathetic to that part, you're still going to be stuck because it plays such a huge role in the way that we show up in the world. Right? So, and it allows us to have more compassion to those around us that may be stuck, right? Because stuck is the default, right? Being stuck, being miserable is exactly where society wants us, okay? Now, even when I'm saying that, I'm like, okay, this is kind of out there, like, and it's a little different than what I used to post before, so forgive me. And if this doesn't resonate with you, totally fine. It's not going to hurt my feelings, not even a little bit. But for those that are ready for it and they're looking to go even deeper on their spiritual journey and explore the systems of oppression and how we get stuck in these systems of oppression, it's kind of a game changer, because once you realize there are systems of oppression, then you can take the steps that Paolo Freire talks about to liberate yourself. And when you liberate yourself, you liberate those that are oppressing you too, or you give them the option to liberate themselves. Now, do they liberate themselves? Like in my experience, like most of them don't, but at least they now have the option to have that liberation. Whereas before there was like zero chance that they're going to liberate themselves. The other part of it that I think is like really important, and it's something that like weighs on me, is even when we are able to liberate ourselves, we are still not free if there's other people that are all still stuck in oppression, whether their own internalized oppression or actual systems of oppression. So I think, I'm going to see, Snowflake might come over. He's like thinking about it. He's checking out the book. Hi, Snowflake, you want to come? He's like, no, I'm busy. I think he's going to, there he goes. He's going to go win his window seat. I think like, so I'm in California in America, and it's a little bit of shit show here. Like, I'm not gonna be honest, like it's a little crazy here. But I think the reason that we are where we're at is that we forget that we're interconnected. And that if I think that if I wish something bad on somebody else, which is what I think happened in this election cycle, is if I wish something bad on someone else in the past, it might have like not have had the instant karmic effect, but because we're at this end of this really huge 2,000-year cycle, we're getting that smacked in our face right away. Like karma's coming right away. And so the reason it's such a shit show here is because people don't realize that the karma's changed, the energy's changed, and you can't just wish bad on people because it's just going to come back and fly in your face, and you're going to get whatever you're wishing upon the other person. So, but I think that if we understood systems of oppression better, we would realize that wishing someone bad or wishing bad things on them is like drinking poison for ourselves. And like, we all know that doesn't end well, right? Like, so, I'm hoping that through this experience with what's happening politically and economically and socially, we'll learn that lesson that we can't spit in someone's face and hope that it doesn't fly back in our own face, because it's just that's not the way that karma works, and that's not the way that the universal laws work. And I think that's like our major lesson that we have right now. So if you want to hear more about this, I could literally talk about this probably for like 3 days straight. Like, I love it. I'm happy to do a follow-up video. I'm happy to answer questions. Just tell me what you would be interested in. I even created a movement practice to help people like understand how their internalized oppression sits in their bodies and like how to release that. I created a movement practice to allow for that to come through and to free yourself, basically. And I can talk about the steps that Paolo Freire says to liberate yourself. I can talk about that too more. But I'm noticing the video's like over 10 minutes, so I don't want to like have everyone fall asleep on me today. But I hope that you found this video helpful. And I hope that you're being really gentle with yourself today and taking all the care that you need. And I will talk to you soon. Take care.